So what happens when you put together bioresin with gold accents and you recrystallize some parts? You get the Team Tough G-Shock Square, a closer edition to the first G-Shock ever made, and the best of 2023. The G-Shock DW5040PG is one of the most important Square releases of the year, because this model is released once every 10 years, so a well-built, highly collectible Square. For me, this might be an opportunity to sell all my Squares and keep this one because it's too good, so allow me to explain you why. This model is an exciting release because it celebrates 40 years since the launch of the first G-Shock Square performed by the Team Tough in 1983. More than that, the sub-brand G-Shock decided to use for the first time the recrystallization and the deep layered hardening treatment in order to obtain unseen patterns on metallic surfaces. The result consists in a recrystallization treatment that creates a crystal-like pattern that resembles small metal fragments with a matted texture. The process results in a pattern that is completely unique for each individual watch. Pretty impressive, and I'm pretty sure that the full recrystallized stainless steel versions are even more spectacular. When I picked up the watch for the first time, surprise my friends, the watch has a lot of substance, it's heavy, it feels well put together, it's robust and appealing compared to other Squares. And that happens because the core of the watch is not made from carbon, but from pure stainless steel. And although in general I prefer lightweight watches, in this case I appreciate the weight of this Square. Feels more serious and more balanced on the wrist with the help of the metallic retainer and the buckle. To give you an idea, compared to the Solar Bluetooth version, size-wise they are the same, the Solar Bluetooth having half of millimeter as extra height. But weight-wise, the Solar one has 52 grams, where the anniversary version has 83 grams. So there is an obvious difference in weight. As product identity, the watch comes on a surprisingly special packaging. No big deal with the outer case, but the inner case is actually a molded cardboard case in the shape of a G letter. So inside we will find the watch into a fabric bag, where normally the majority of the Squares come into a metallic hexagonal case. But in this case the brand offered something more special, and you can feel it right from the unboxing phase. As a curiosity of the reissue, clearly this is a homage of the 1983 model. The design and the color palette is close to the vintage model, but as extra they replaced the water resistance 200 meters label with the Project Team Tough signature. This is the name of the team that worked with Kikuo Ibe, the father of G-Shock, to develop the first DW5000C model. In 1983, the team brought Ibe's vision of constructing a durable watch that would not break even if dropped, featuring an unparalleled shock-resistant structure. So, to commemorate the completion of the very first G-Shock, the brand launched this limited edition model inscribed with the team names on the dial, which was distributed only to the team members. So the motif of the watch consists in the golden accents combined with the matted bioresin plastic case, to pay homage to the first G-Shock Square. And in this case we have golden pushers with a metallic retainer with 4 stars and a standard design buckle in the same finishing. But also a golden metallic case and a golden dial. Well, that's new. The golden dial feels to look like a radially brushed piece of gold which sits underneath the display, because it offers a sunburst effect with the help of micro perforations. What is interesting with the floating numerals, it creates a contradiction, offering depth, looking like 2 separate layers on the dial. However, there is a downside to this effect. When angled, the legibility of the numerals is fading compared to an MIP dial. But also because the display ratio of the lettering is smaller, more accurate and in line with the vintage one. So why do I love this watch besides its resemblance with the first G-Shock Square ever made? This is an 100% independent watch, means that this does not interact with the light or with the phone, so no Bluetooth or solar power battery. And I know a lot of people disagree with me, but I'm 100% for battery powered watches rather than the solar ones. For me, it's actually a pain to keep my watches charged, because in time I managed to drain out of battery a few solars, so for me it's a no-go. And in the same time, I also love the purist approach to set manually the hour, and by doing so, I think it's more accurate to do the original one, and I appreciate that. Inside of the watch, we have the module 3421 quartz. Normally, on the modern squares, the light is actioned from the 2 o'clock position, but in this case it's actioned by the 4 o'clock one. Exactly as the entry-level DW5000C, both sharing the same legible blue backlight. And then around the digital display we have the specific rectangular layout with the motif of brick patterns, which is part of the G-Shock Square design language. And if we look at the Japanese brands, usually they have the culture to build around their history and elevate interesting elements from their past with each release. Another example being here Seiko or Grand Seiko. On the wrist as well, interesting, we can preview a sandwich of beautiful accents, starting from the side with the resin case with gold pushers and then interrupted by a golden metallic accent which represents the inner case, closed into another layer of bioresin. And sometimes the case back of the G-Shocks are more interesting than the dials, and here there is no exception. The case back is as well finished in a recrystallized pattern and signed with the 40th anniversary logo. As comfort, I know there are a lot of levels of resin straps. The budget ones are more stiff, but once the watches are going up in quality and price, the straps are getting more flexible and more comfortable. For this model, I can't say the strap is the best one, but not rudimentary either. However, I do prefer to swap the native strap with a composite bracelet, which releases from the pressure put on the top part of the wrist, distributing it equally thanks to the individual links. I am losing from the X factor because I give up on the golden accents from the strap, but I win in comfort with the bracelet. As a conclusion, the DW5040PG is a reissue as well of the 2013 DW5030, both homage watches to the Project Tough team which made the first G-Shock. This is a limited edition but still widely available on the market. However, being very appreciated by the collectors, this will disappear most likely from the shelves, and it's a pity not to try one if you're a Square fan. Now for the $280–300 range, I'm not sure if this is a good price compared to the features offered, but definitely this is an impressive watch through meaning, quality and weight. So these are my initial thoughts in regard to this 40th anniversary version, and I'm really curious to know what do you think about it. Is it worth the money or not? Please let me know in the comments below. And as usual, if you're new around, please consider subscribing for future episodes. Thank you very much, thanks for watching, and until next time, be brave, mom, stay safe.